1 minute to stream start. 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. 1 minute. Hang in there. "30 seconds. Stand by. 30 seconds. Going live in 15. Oh, hello, friends. Well, well, well. And as I like to say, well, what have we here? It's Colin's all-time favorite World Series. Yes, you asked for it, and the baseball gods delivered. Dodgers Blue Jays, starting this Friday from Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And boy, oh boy, is there anyone in America more happy about it than this guy? Probably not. Good evening and welcome. For those of you who are first-time watchers, I appreciate it. Please feel free to leave some comments. We love talking to the viewers. We love answering your questions. We love going over baseball and baseball-related things. We'll talk strategy. We'll talk, we'll talk anything. Frankly, we'll just talk. If you're interested, well, I'm going to talk if you're not interested. And if you're not interested, stop listening. But I can guarantee you, there's going to be very little gloating here. Okay, a lot of people think that it's going to be a gloat fest. It is not going to be a gloat fest. It might be a little bit of a gloat fest. It might just a little bit. Come on, just a little, just a little. Now, as many of you know, and if you don't know, you should have known for a long time, these are my teams, right? These are my teams. And you know how you can tell that these are my teams? Because it says so right here on the lower third. That's right, Dodgers Blue Jays fan. The same logo, lower third, that I've been using all postseason. Because this is true. This has the advantage of being true. I am actually a fan of both of these teams and have been for a very long time. And oh boy, it's pretty exciting to see the finally Colin's Dream World Series has come to pass. Now, you may be saying to yourself, Colin, how can you root for two different teams? Let me show you how. I actually perfected this at Dodger Stadium. Ready? Here we go. You get yourself couple of these ball caps here, right? You got two. You got two, right? You take them with you to the stadium. And when the Blue Jays come up to bat, this is what you do. You put this one right here. You give it a good old, oh goodness. You put it right here. You go, hey, all right, let's go, Blue Jays. Hey, how's it going, eh? Let's go, Blue Jays. Yay. And then when the Dodgers come up to bat, you subtly switch this one on and just be like, all right, here we go. Shohei. I am a fan of Shohei Ohtani. Let's go, Tani. And then at the next inning, you go back like this. You just go, oh, hi. How are you, friends? Now, the problem with this strategy, and I've pulled this off a couple of times at Dodgers Blue Jays games here in the greater Los Angeles area, is there's one thing that unless you're like really committed, like the Cal Raleigh 61, 62 homer guy, I'm not prepared for. And that's the shirt. You got to pick a shirt to wear, a Dodger shirt, a Blue Jay shirt. And the shirt tells the tale. I am not in a position financially to be able to buy two MLB jerseys, cut them in half, and have them sewn back together. I always find that'll be a little off-putting. So I will not be doing that. However, if I'm lucky enough to attend one of the games of the World Series, the 2025 World Series featuring the Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers, I can guarantee you that I will be doing this every half inning. Now, there are some people, and I'm not going to name names or point fingers, Amy Huggins, America's favorite Phillies fan, as she is known, and say that, listen, you got to pick a team. You got to pick a team. It's not fair to have two teams. Listen, I won the World Series tonight. I'm the winner no matter. Okay? Let's just be honest. No matter what happens, I got a World Series winning team. I'm very excited. Now, for those of you who root for only one team, perhaps it's time to rethink your mathematical approach to this. I understand that one team can always just be the team in your heart, right? But there can be another team in your head, and you can vote or root for two different teams. It is possible, and I think I'm proving that on a day-to-day basis by rooting for both the Dodgers, champions of the National League, and the Toronto Blue Jays, champions of the American League. Look, if the Blue Jays beat both the Yankees and the Dodgers to win the World Series, you know what you do? You tip your cap to them and you call him your daddy. I miss Pedro already. I enjoyed the NL coverage better than the Fox coverage. It's personal preference. I'm happy that we'll have people bag on John Smoltz. Smoltz is fine. Joe Davis is the real win there. So just be excited that, you'll have, and it's interesting, I think, for both national broadcasters in Canada and the US, the national broadcasters are the broadcasters of the team. Because if I'm not mistaken, Sportsnet will cover the World Series in Canada with Dan Schulman and Buck Martinez on the call. If I'm mistaken, please, Canadian friends, let me know. But if I'm not mistaken, then they cover them during the regular season quite enjoyably. I've always enjoyed listening to Buck and Dan, even Danny's boy on the radio every now and again. So that is your matchup for the World Series is set. That would be your Dodgers, my Dodgers, and your Blue Jays, my Blue Jays. There are some other things we have to get to about this matchup, though. Right? There's some other stuff that went down tonight that perhaps left a bad taste in the mouths of some Dodger fans who still to this day, rightfully so, in most occasions, maintain an attitude of unforgivableness towards the 2017 Houston Astros cheating franchise, which cheated its way to a cheating World Series of cheating title. I will not disagree with you on this. I will not. I very much agree that that was a stain on baseball, very close to, if not equal to, the Black Sox scandal, but very close in the ballpark, so to speak. And yeah, you shouldn't cheat like that. That's not good. You're cheating. You're cheating. Don't be a cheater. Nobody likes a cheat. Well, does nobody like a cheater if he hits a home run for your team in the seventh inning of a deciding Game 7 of the ALCS? Guys, I might like a cheater. No. Here's the thing with Georgie Springer. A lot of time has passed. And yeah, look, the Corrs said it best in one of their early songs, "Forgiven, not forgotten." I do remember it. It was not great. But, I do enjoy watching him play fair baseball as well. And it's not a morals contest out there on the field. It's a baseball contest. No bonus points for, moral purity. Although God knows, I wish there was, because there's a lot of people who cheated with the steroid era and all that stuff who I don't think were entitled to the success that they achieved or the recognition or, um, the way they were embraced by some. Pete Rose. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of? Oh, well, he only bet on his own team. Yeah, some of the time. Think about that. So no, I'm not a Pete Rose apologist. And do I think Springer committed a crime equal to that of Pete Rose? Well, no, frankly. But it was still cheating. It still was against both the letter and spirit of the law. And I think he should probably pay a price for it. That said, I had kind of a Joey Bats moment tonight. The only thing missing was a truly epic bat flip to really kind of cement it in Canadian lore. And I think George, was kind of caught off guard by the moment because he kind of gave it a little twirl flip and ran. I think, he was trying to just hit a sac fly and oops, all homers. Whoops. Bob Franz is in. Bob, thank you always for tuning in. Go Dodgers. Yes, indeed. Go Dodgers. I have the cap ready for that, just in case. However, Bob, may I interest you in an American League franchise called the Toronto Blue Jays, who are also very good and whom I have liked for a very long time. Bob, of course, is the answer to the trivia question, who took me to my very first baseball game ever? I'm pretty sure you are the answer to that trivia question, Bob. So thank you for that. Dodgers Reds, as I recall it. Maybe I'm wrong. It was one of those deals. He was going to the game. This is how I remember it. It was a long time ago. I was a young kid living in Silver Lake, California. And Bob and his lovely wife, Julie, I believe, were going to a baseball game. And this upset me. They'd stopped by to visit my parents in Silver Lake. And I was extraordinarily upset by this development and caused a bit of a scene, a row, a fit, if you will, and was rewarded by being asked if I wanted to go to the game. And I said yes. And I believe I did go to that game. Now, that's how I remember it. Maybe I'm wrong. Bob, am I close? Am I close? The answer is no. That is not what happened. Okay, fair enough. Please let me have my memories. That's all I have. That's what I remember of it from my little, 5-year-old point of view or whatever. Let's see. Hold on. I got to get out the old reading glasses. Old daddy's getting a little old in the old. Yeah. I could almost read all of the comments from the distance to the screen. Almost. I'll take your word for it. No recall, sadly. Well, Bob, I think we all know why that is. Smoked a lot more than I have of the special memory. And regardless, that's what I remember. That's how I remember it. Very clearly, actually. I have two very early memories from that age. One was that, and one was driving to Disneyland, standing in the car between my mom and dad. Must have been, I don't know what car, but like in the old days, your 3-year-old or 4-year-old could just stand there. in between the driver's and passenger seats. So I did. Burned into my memory. Don't know why. So that's your a little bit of Colin baseball history. Now, that early Dodger fandom was always there, right? Dodger fandom locked in. I was one of those kids who had the transistor radio. Mine was a Mickey Mouse, a big plastic Mickey Mouse radio that I would listen to go to sleep every night. And as I believe we talked about on the last stream, sometimes these games even started as late as 7:30 local time. So they were definitely going on by my bedtime, still going. And so I would listen as long as I could and then fall asleep to the dulcet tones of Mr. Vin Scully, which was, we had it so good here in Los Angeles with Vin Scully, Bob Miller, Chick Hearn, a triumvirate of announcers I will put up against any city's trio of announcers. I think we'll win because we have a triumvirate, not just a trio. But that was the origin of my Dodger fandom. For those of you who haven't heard the story, I'll tell the quick version of how I became a Blue Jays fan in 1977. When the Blue Jays joined the American League, along with tonight's vanquished foe, the Seattle Mariners, the young baseball mad Colin decided, and this is pre-interleague. Remember, there was no interleague play back in the day. The only way for these teams to meet would have been in the World Series. And so, of course, pre-internet Colin thought, well, I love baseball so much, I could root for a team in the American League also, and maybe someday they'd be great. And I'll be able to say I've been a fan of theirs all along, their entire history. If I start with one of these new teams, these clean, never before, they new franchises, they hadn't existed. So let's take a look at the logos for the Seattle Mariners and the Toronto Blue Jays, and whoever has the better logo wins. And trust me, this was the better logo, easily. I mean, the M's was kind of just like that pitchforky thing. Ugh. And so young Colin started writing to the Blue Jays a correspondence which led to them sending me a media guide, eventually a season ticket brochure. I don't know that many 11-year-olds in Cambria, California were going to be sending, in deposits for season tickets, but God bless them. They were very nice. They sent me kept me on the mailing list for a little bit. I think they were just happy to have fans from America. I'm sure they had plenty of Canadian fans. But even then, they were competing against another Canadian team, Les Expos de Montréal. So that's how I became a Blue Jays fan. And we've had a brush with this World Series before. Baseball historians will note that we definitely have had a brush with this before. We let me think of the year there, 1985 it was, your Dodgers and your Blue Jays almost met in the World Series. However, that was the Tom Niedenfuer to Jack Clark disaster which followed the Ozzie Smith "Go crazy, folks, go crazy" home run that led the Cardinals to defeat the Dodgers that year. And in the American League, after getting off to a promising start, the Blue Jays fell to George Brett and the Kansas City Royals. And so you had the Royals-Cardinals series when we could have had Dodgers-Blue Jays. Well, this year we've got it. We finally cracked the code, and we will finally have Dodgers Blue Jays. I'm super excited, y'all. Super excited. And I, forget about the baseball of it all. Like, it's just gonna be fun. Now, again, a lot of this stream will be spent addressing complaints friends have lobbed to me in private, and they're valid complaints. One of the complaints I heard a lot was, well, the NLCS wasn't competitive. It wasn't competitive. It wasn't fun. We didn't enjoy watching the Dodgers stomp all over the Brewers. This series, the ALCS, was at least fun. Yes, it was. I mean, sure. Absolutely. I mean, when George Springer does his best Jose Bautista impression, that's great. That was an exciting series for the non-involved fan. For the Blue Jay fan involved, it was horrible. It was horrible. I was at basketball practice watching Mackey with one eye and one eye glued to the updates. I could barely watch tonight's game because I was so nervous that something was going to go horribly wrong that I eventually, I didn't start watching until the last 3 innings, just in time. And it ended up working out. I was dipping in and out between the at bat like chart thing and a little bit of the radio broadcast and some of the TV broadcast and etc. So the NLCS was fun for me, says Bob. You know what? It was fun. And I think what it proved was, especially in game 4, you can have history and a fun thing happen even in the context of a 4-0 sweep. The Ohtani greatest game ever played. I mean, come on. People, what more do you want? The man gave you the greatest baseball game ever played by a human. So I will not entertain complaints about how that was an unexciting series or a wipeout or what. It was not. It was a competitive series, and the Milwaukee Brewers are a very good baseball team, as they proved during the regular season. They just weren't the better team in this series. They were not hot at the right time, and the Dodger pitching, everyone got healthy by the end of the year. That was the plan. The plan works so far. I don't know if it worked all the way to the end of the year, but so far the plan has worked. And yeah, Dodger starting pitching is looking pretty darn good when you are figuring that, Shohei Ohtani may be your 4th starter in the World Series. I can tell you this. I know those tickets for Game 4 at Dodger Stadium are going to get jacked up pretty high. Not saying I haven't already looked, but I have. More on that as things develop. That being said, I am, of course, available to be anyone's +1 for Dodgers Blue Jays at Dodger Stadium. Please feel free to invite me. I'll even pay a good amount of money. Not crazy, insane. And it's not Dodgers Yankees, people. It can't be that pricey. It's not Dodgers Yankees. It's Dodgers Blue Jays. Come on. Let a fan have a ticket. Come on. Bob asks the question that is on everyone's mind. We must know, who will you really root for? Now, Bob, this is a very difficult question. It's a very difficult question because when your 2 favorite teams are playing each other and the winner will be the winner of the World Series, who do you pick? And what criteria should you use to pick? And I broke it down this way. What do I like? Good baseball. How much of it do I want? A lot, because this is it. These are the last up to 7 baseball games we will get until 2026. So do I want the series to go 7? You bet I do. Do I want it to go extra innings? Oh, hell yes. 7 games, extra innings, and in the end, Blue Jays. I said it. I would like the Blue Jays to win this World Series because the Dodgers won it last year. Come on. The Dodgers just won, and the Dodgers are the Dodgers. So while I will be rooting for both teams to do well and rooting for my Canadian kids to do well, I think at the end of the day, 7 games, extra innings, and a walk-off World Series winner by Vladdy would make me very happy. As I said at the beginning of the stream, I won the World Series tonight. I cannot be disappointed in the result. If it's a 4-0 Dodger sweep, fantastic. If it's a 4-0 Blue Jays sweep, fantastic-er. Well, I guess, it could be fantastic-er, right? I think that's just the logical way of looking at it. If these 2 teams were to meet in each of the next 3 or 4 World Series and kind of keep trading the title back and forth, Lakers-Celtics style, what is wrong with this? What is wrong with this? I ask you, America, cannot we find room in our hearts for a scrappy bunch of moose herders from north of the border? They don't actually herd moose. Or should we stay with the money makes everything right Los Angeles Dodgers? I don't know. I will say I saw a great breakdown today of the Dodgers and the people complaining about how they're a super team and they're ruining baseball and blah, blah, blah. And it kind of went through how they got some of their key players, right? Like, where did Freddie Freeman come from? He came from the Braves. And why was he available? Braves didn't want to pay him the money. All right, how about Blake Snell? Where did Blake Snell come from? He came from the Rays and the Padres and other teams. Why was he available? People didn't want to give him the money. Tyler Glasnow, injury prone. Why was he available? People wouldn't give him the money. Dodgers would give him the money. Why did Shohei leave the Angels, come to the Dodgers? Shohei probably would have liked to have stayed with the Angels. They wouldn't give him the money. It's pretty simple. Now, does that mean, we have to have a salary cap? No, I agree with the premise of this social media post that I saw, which was what we need is fewer cheap owners. We need owners willing to spend on the product, and then you will solve the problem of, a super team. They're not, look, didn't even, were they a super team? I don't know. They won their division again, but they certainly did not, go, out to 110 wins or, crazy stuff that people thought was possible at the beginning of the year when they looked at the lineup. So still got to play the games. Injury updates. Let's talk injury updates. I saw a champagne-soaked Bo Bichette saying he'll be ready. Please don't slip, Bo. Please don't slip. And you got to remember, Bo Bichette basically led the American League in hits this year and missed most of September. I don't know if he ended up he was very close at the end of the season, still having the most hits in the American League and had missed the last month. Sounds like a good guy to get back. I'm sure they'll find a way to use him. So that'll be great for the Blue Jays. So there'll be, I would say, if Bo is still able to hit at even a 75% Bo Bichette level, that is going to be a plus for the Blue Jays and their ability to hit, which they're going to need to do a lot of to beat the Dodgers, who also strangely have an ability to hit the baseball and sometimes even hit the baseball out of Dodger Stadium. Wow. So that'll be good. Hopefully Will Smith is feeling a little better still. I still get the feeling that Will is still kind of probably bugged on his hand, and it would be nice for that to clear up a little more, get him out there. And yeah, look, it's just going to be a fun series. It's just going to be fun for me. I'm so sorry for everyone else, for my Philly fan friends, for my Padre fan friends, for my Met fan friends, for the Brewers and Reds fans who this year had their playoff dreams dashed. It's just one of those things that has never happened before, and it has finally happened. And I feel like I just get to celebrate, 10 days early, because one of these all-time Colin teams is going to be your World Series champion. And so we'll see how it goes. And I hope you guys will see with me. We'll try to get the streams going a little closer to the end of the games during the World Series. Maybe that'll help get some more people in. Although, Bob, I do love chatting with you. And thank you for being a loyal viewer. I would remind you, other potential loyal viewers, that you can like and subscribe and do all those things, and that would certainly be helpful because then you would know when we are talking about baseball. I am wearing a Blue Jays shirt tonight. That's right. It's my team for this year, I think. But I will not be unhappy if this team wins. This is very silly. So yeah. So that's where I am on the World Series. Thank you again for your patience, your comments, Bob. Thumbs up for both of us. Certainly appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again for watching. We'll have another stream coming up probably. We'll try to get one on maybe before game 1 of the World Series if you're interested. Maybe some late afternoon chat. Keep an eye on your feeds. I'll try to post notifications whenever possible. And thank you for people who joined and were able to drop in and out. And if you're watching this back the next day, feel free to leave a comment about my logic when it comes to Dodgers Blue Jays, and we'll address those on the next stream. And until such time, I would say to you, thank you, and have a great night, everybody.